to the Fourth and Long Fantasy Football Show.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Fourth and Long Fantasy Football Show. My name's Justin. Episode 55 today. Week 6 is come and gone, and we're on to Week 7. On today's episode, I'll give you a few of my Week 6 reactions, and then go over my waiver wire targets and my starts of the week for Week 7. Now, as a reminder, I'll be releasing my weekly episodes throughout the season on Thursday mornings, getting you prepared with my weekly recaps, waiver wire ads, and starts of the week. Your time is valuable, so let's get to it.
On today's show,
all right, so for today's show, I'm going to start by giving you a couple quick reactions to Week 6. The first being Antonio Brown, Tampa Bay Buccaneers wide receiver 1. Now, I was skeptical coming into the season that AB could be this dominant in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense, but through the first 6 weeks of the season, he looks like his old self. I was convinced that Chris Godwin would be the steady contributor here in this offense and that Mike Evans and Antonio Brown would be the receivers who would alternate strong weeks here and there, but Antonio Brown has been the steady contributor over the last 3 weeks. He's amassed 11, 8, and 13 targets the last 3 weeks, and with that kind of usage in a Tom Brady-led offense, AB needs to be an every week set-it-and-forget-it wide receiver until further notice. Now, we'll see what impact Rob Gronkowski has on his performances when he's finally back and healthy, but Antonio Brown looks like Brady's favorite target in Tampa, and at 33 years old, the juice is not gone from this stud wideout. Next, Jaylen Waddle breakout. Now, Jaylen Waddle was one of my favorite wide receivers in this year's draft class, and if he had come out of Bama healthy last year, he probably could have been mentioned in the same breath as rookie phenom Jamar Chase. Now, in Week 6, Jaylen Waddle was tasked with a larger workload due to the plethora of injuries that have plagued the Dolphins wide receiver room, and he looked like the stud wideout the Dolphins drafted him to be. He ripped apart the Jaguars' defense to the tune of 10 catches, 70 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And we could be seeing the development of some serious chemistry here between Jaylen Waddle and his old college quarterback, Tua. He's an upside wide receiver 3 for me with the potential to become a more consistent wide receiver 2 if he continues to be relied on in this passing attack. And then finally, Derrick Henry is good. Is there anything that could stop this man? Derrick Henry is on a historic pace right now. He's up to 10 touchdowns in 6 weeks. Is he the unquestioned number 1 player in fantasy football right now? Yes, he is. One of the things I like most about Henry's game this season is his involvement in the passing game. It's not a lot, right? But we've talked for years that even giving Henry a few passes out of the backfield per week would vault him into another stratosphere. We're only 6 games into the season, and Derrick Henry has already almost bested his career high for receptions. He currently sits at 16 receptions, and his career high is only 19. He should shatter that this season. If you own Derrick Henry, you're probably sitting with a winning record right now, and you should coast through the rest of the season. All right, next let me get into my waiver wire ads for Week 7. Before I get there, my ads for last week included Kansas City running back Darrell Williams, New York Giants running back Devontae Booker, and New England Patriots tight end Hunter Henry. Now, this week is tough, guys, right? There are a lot of good teams on bye, so filling your lineup up this week could be a challenge. My first waiver wire ad for Week 7 is going to be a wide receiver, and I'm going to go with Baltimore Ravens wide receiver Rashaad Bateman. Now, the first-round pick of the Ravens played his first NFL game on Sunday, and he performed pretty well. He tied for the team lead with 6 targets and operated very much in the Sammy Watkins role in this offense. Now, yes, Hollywood Brown is the Ravens' number 1 wide receiver, but Rashaad Bateman could carve himself out a nice 6 to 8 target role in this Baltimore pass offense. With Lamar Jackson's growth as a passer this season, he's a no-brainer ad with flex upside in Week 7. Next on my waiver wire ads for Week 7 is going to be a running back, and it's going to be Seattle Seahawks running back Rashaad Penny. Both of Seattle's running backs are battling injuries right now, with Chris Carson on IR and Alex Collins being banged up in Week 6. Enter Rashaad Penny, who's likely to be activated off IR this week and could see a big role right out the gate. With Geno Smith under the helm here, the Hawks are not abandoning their affinity to run the ball, and Rashaad Penny could be a sneaky running back too in Week 7 with the possibility that Alex Collins is either limited or out. And then finally, my last waiver wire ad for Week 7 is going to be a running back, and I'm going to go with Washington football team's running back JD McKissic. Now, the talk this offseason of Antonio Gibson taking on an expanded role has not yet come to fruition, as McKissic is still the preferred passing down and hurry-up back, and he actually totaled over 100 total yards in Week 6. Gibson has been battling a shin fracture, and with the recent news of him getting an MRI this week, we could be bracing for an extended absence, which will lead to a much safer floor for the pass-catching specialist than J.D. McKissic. McKissic immediately becomes a plug-and-play RB2 in PPR formats. In a week with a lot of bye weeks, he's a pretty safe start going against the Packers in what should be game script that favors a catch-up for the Washington football team. All right, let me get into my last segment of the show today, and that's going to be my starts of the week. Last week, I had quarterback Jalen Hurts, running back Joe Mixon, and wide receiver Chase Claypool. This week, I'm going to get my starts of the week list started for week 7 with a quarterback, and it's going to be Atlanta Falcons quarterback Matt Ryan. 2 consecutive strong starts for Matt Ryan places him squarely in the starting conversation in week 7. Going up against the Miami Dolphins D and equipped with a breakout all-purpose dynamo Cordell Patterson, a freshly broken out Kyle Pitts, and his favorite target Calvin Ridley returning, Matt Ryan should be in store for another strong fantasy day. Start Matt Ryan as a top 10 quarterback with top 5 upside. My next start of the week is going to be a running back, and it's going to be Los Angeles Rams running back Darrell Henderson. Now, Darrell Henderson continues to operate as the clear lead back for this LA Rams offense, and the talk of Sony Michel forming a 1-2 committee has not yet come to fruition. It looks like Sean McVay is going to ride Henderson until the wheels come off. Week 7 brings a matchup against the Detroit Lions, who were just lit up by Cincinnati running back Joe Mixon, who was my start of the week last week. Henderson should find pay dirt once again in week 7 and should be started with top 5 upside at the position. And then finally, my last start of the week is going to be a wide receiver, and I'm going to go with Tennessee Titans wide receiver A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown came to life in the second half of Monday's game against the Bills, but it's been a relatively disappointing start to the season for the third-year stud wide receiver. He's battled injuries, food poisoning, but he emerged healthy in week 6, which is great. Week 7 brings a matchup with the leaky Chiefs defense, and I think A.J. Brown gets really going and finds the end zone for the first time since week 1. Start A.J. Brown as a top 10 option in week 7. So that'll do it. Please remember to comment and like on this video on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, and find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. This has been the 4th and Long Fantasy Football Show. Good luck in week 7, everybody. See you next week.
Royalty-free music courtesy of Ben Sound. The views and opinions expressed on today's episode are that of the 4th and Long Fantasy Football Show. Remember to like and subscribe.